Unfortunately, it seems that we are not learning from our past. We know of the mistakes of the past and we seem to want to repeat the mistakes again.
We are Group 4, and my name is Nurul Natasha binti Nur.
My name is Siti Nur Faiza binti Muhammad Izam.
And my name is Muhammad Nurdini bin Kamaruddin.
My name is Putri Anamai Sarah binti Zahari. Let us get to know what's the core component of Mahathirism.
Tun Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad was born on 10 July 1925 in Kampung Seberang, Perak, Alustar, and is currently 99 years old. He started his education at Malay schools in the area, then attended Sultan Abdul Hamid College in Alustar, then later pursued medicine at King Edward VII College of Medicine in Singapore. This remarkable person had served as our fourth and seventh Prime Minister, which is during 1981 till 2003, and then once again in 2018 till 2020. The word Mahathirism here describes Tun M's political convictions, customs, and style of leadership. There are four core components of Mahathirism that will be discussed today, which is nationalism, authoritarianism, capitalism, and populism.
Now, I want to explain the first element of Mahathirism, nationalism. Mahathir wrote Dilemma Melayu to express his concerns for Malays. He argued for persevering Malay identity and interests, emphasizing Malay privilege and their importance to the nation's functioning. As captured by the quote, the Malays are the rightful owners of Malaya. Without Malay support, no government can function in this country. Mahathir believed Malay nationalism was vital for Malaysia's security and development. He supported policies to boost Malay political, social, and economic power. The new economic policy aimed to improve the status of Malays and other indigenous groups through affirmative action. Mahathir encouraged Malay entrepreneurship with financial support and created government-linked cooperation to increase Malay involvement in key economic sectors. Mahathirism promote unity among all Malaysians through Malaysian nationalism. His policy encouraged adopting the discipline and work ethic of its nations like Japan and South Korea to inspire national pride and productivity in Malaysia. Dr. Mahathir founded local businesses to support economic sovereignty and reduce dependency on imported goods. Proton Holding Berhad, Malaysia's first automaker, was established to build a domestic auto industry and create jobs. Mahathir continued affirmative action with the National Development Policy to advance Bumiputra's socio-economic status and reduce ethnic economic disparities. The government invested in new schools and universities like UITM to provide higher education and foster cultural pride among Malaysians, especially Bumiputra.
Next core component of Mahathirism is authoritarianism, based on Nicole Paulus, a Greek philosopher in 1990. Authoritarianism comprises as a transfer of power from the legislature to the executive and the concentration of power within the latter. Secondly, an accelerated fusion between three branches of the state: legislative, executive, and judiciary, accompanied by a decline in the rule of law. Thirdly, the functional decline of political parties as a privilege. Authoritarianism in Mahathirism is a measure to maintain control and centralize his power to govern the state. He was famous for his solid grasp on the ruling party, the United Malays National Organization, or known as UMNO, and for taking a tough stance against political opponents and dissent. Mahathir concentrated significant power in the office of the Prime Minister and within UMNO, and exercised considerable influence over decision-making process and policies.
Production like factories and land in capitalist economy are owned by private person and companies. The core principles of capitalism start with private ownership, which allow individuals and businesses to own and control property and resources. During Mahathir's tenure, he wished to see Malaysia as an industrialized country and put his focus on major economic issues. First thing first, he introduced Look East policy in the 1980s. to imitating the success of countries like Japan and South Korea. This is for the sake of learning their labor ethics, moral, discipline, and management capability and reapply it back to Malaysia economic development. Next, privatization policy was set in motion in 1983 in order to improve Malaysia's economy. Implementing this policy able to reduce government's financial and administrative burden, reduce the size and involvement of public sector and so on. With the saving made from privatization policy, Malaysian government had the opportunity to reallocate their limited resources to others vital areas such as health and education.
We have a compelling proposition for you to come and share our vision to build the perfect multimedia hub through a mutually beneficial relationship.
For the first time ever, Malaysia successfully founding our own branding car, which is Proton, in 1983. All of Mahathir's actions were parallel with the title he got, which is Bapa Pemodenan Malaysia.
The last component of Mahathirism is populism. He is called as a populist because of some ideological and personal characteristics of Mahathir as a politician. His contribution to Malaysia, which he solved the financial crisis. The crisis also in other Asian countries such as Thailand, Philippines and Indonesia, but Malaysia was the only country that escaped the crisis with the wisdom of Tun Dr. Mahathir, who pegged the Malaysian ringgit currency to the US dollar. Tun Dr. Mahathir launched a new policy, the National Development Policy (NDP) 1991 to 2000. The NDP plays a role in further strengthening community social and political stability and ensuring permanent and continuous economic development. The approach used by the NDP is poverty alleviation and the organisation of society to improve the social and economic imbalance between races, which will contribute towards strengthening national unity. Besides that, because Tun Dr. Mahathir is known as a populist because of his attitude, a new system was introduced in the employment system, the punch card system. He has strict discipline in matters involving time because he is punctual, and he inspires the Japanese people who are very punctual and value their time. Therefore, he wants the Malaysian community to emulate the Japanese community. Lastly, Tun Dr. Mahathir is also actively fighting for and defending the privileged rights of Malays and Bumiputras. He was one of the first Malays to register as a member of UMNO and urged the British government to abolish the Malayan Union, which threatened the position of the Malays and the King of Malays at that time, and the provision regarding the unique position of the Malays and citizens of Sabah and Sarawak.
In conclusion, under Mahathir's leadership, Malaysia quickly developed and modernized through capitalist policies and significant infrastructure projects, boosting its global standing. Mahathir centralized power to safely enforce policies, often suppressing dissent and limiting freedoms to maintain stability and control. His populist rhetoric focused on national unity and pride, aiming to strengthen Malaysia's independence and reduce reliance on foreign countries. This approach significantly shaped Malaysian politics and economic landscape, making Mahathir's leadership impactful and controversial.